Hello boys, I want to get to know you a bit better. So I have come up with 10 questions for you to answer. Question 1. What sort of games do you like to play?
Okay, so what kind of games do I like to play? Well, I've said it a few times on the channel before, but my preferred type of game is, for the most part, single player, story driven, a beginning, middle, and end to a campaign. Not one of these sprawling, ongoing things where you just keep going and keep going and keep going and grinding and grinding, grinding. Kind of like your Lara Crofts, your Portals, your Doom kind of games. That game for me, personally, is the type I mostly like to play.
Cool. I echo that. I'll go with that as well, because that's what I'm pretty much like, except for I don't like your sort of games. I like sort of like Zeldas or your Metroids or a bit of Ori, bit of story, but it's generally story-driven games, yeah, that you can complete. Not too long.
I like the Gears of War, the Halos, the Last of Us, that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm on that bandwagon.
There are some things there that I agree with Sean. I do like sort of more cerebral puzzle games, so Portal would be included in that. I quite enjoyed the Room series. I don't know if any of you have ever played the Room. It's all like Japanese puzzle boxes. It's that kind of feel. But I mean, what I like in a game is the sort of make your own story kind of thing. So games like DayZ and FTL sort of have that down, where you make your own story out of the environment that you have. So you're not just following the path that's laid out by somebody else, which is fine. I mean, that's okay. But when you create your own story, it creates a new adventure every time. And that gives a game replayability, and that matters as far as I'm concerned.
On the back of that, like I said, I like those story single player games. However, it has to be said, when you get a good multiplayer game, where you've got you and a few friends around on the internet, having a few hours together on an evening or whatever, and specifically I'm talking about things like which we play regularly, like Left 4 Dead 2, Golf Around, which is a very little known golf game, but we play it religiously. Some of the times you can have in those games where you're playing with your friends and other people can be absolutely subliminal. It's absolutely epic, and it's more about the people you're playing with and how you're playing with it rather than the actual game. But nevertheless, there are some absolutely classic gaming moments with that sort of game.
Question 2. Doom Guy versus Marcus Fenix versus Master Chief. Who wins?
Which version of Doom Guy?
That's the nerdiest question to ask back, isn't it?
I mean, it's the correct question, though, isn't it? I like that. Yeah.
If we're going by the state he's in the Dark Ages, there is only one winner, and that is the Doom Guy. If you're using the Doom Marine and that kind of thing, it's either it's going to come down to Master Chief.
Yep, I agree, Master Chief. Yep.
He's a walking tank.
Doom Guy slays the hordes of hell in all games. And Marcus Fenix is Marcus Fenix. I mean, Jesus Christ, what a dilemma.
Well, I'm putting in a vote for Doom Guy. I mean, it's either Doom Guy or I'd have to insert another possible candidate. Duke Nukem. I mean, he'd look good doing it. He'd probably lose, but he'd look good doing it.
I think my vote would be Doom Guy.
Doom Guy.
Like I said, depends which version.
There's no pleasing some people, is there?
Well,
nerd.
Question 3. Do you think video games can be educational?
Well, let me tell you guys, they are very educational, because I learnt to read with the Spectrum, with your learn to reads and all your, your spelling games and your Castle Spellicus, where you have to spell the word or your castle gets destroyed. So I grew up on educational games, but nowadays maybe not. But there is some educational games out there. So yes.
Well, I used to be the tech guy in a school, and I can tell you there are educational games that are actual games, but have been modified for education. For example, Minecraft Edu. Minecraft Education is a real thing, and it gets used.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I totally agree. Even in today's arena, Chris, the modern games and modern educational games are widely used across educational authorities across the UK. So absolutely, yes, they can be educational.
Secretly teaching you as you game.
Question 4. What don't you like about video games?
I'll go first on this one.
Go on then.
The f***ing price of the bastards.
Oh, that's a good one. Good start.
There's no need for it in this day and age for something to cost $70, $80 or even more, unless you're getting something at special edition with something you can physically own. And you don't physically own anything anymore. You just have a license, and it's wrong.
I absolutely 100% agree with Damien on that. That the price of some games nowadays for what you're getting is just ridiculous. Also, one of my biggest problems with modern day video games is day one patches and changes to the game from immediately going live. Far gone are the days where the game's released and you take it home and you grub your little hands, put it into your whatever you're playing it on, and play the game. Oh, no. You need an 80 gigabyte download before you can even start to think about playing this. And then it needs to start patching the current game you've already downloaded, which is going to take another God knows how long. No, not acceptable.
Another one. The game doesn't come on the media you've purchased.
Just hitting all the buttons here. Jesus.
Well, shall I go slightly off topic with what I don't like then?
Okay.
Well, hang on. I'll do one that's sort of similar to what you guys were saying. Games that include some sort of loot box system, especially where they're basically encouraging kids to gamble. I mean, why would anybody put that in a game? But I'm going to say one that's controversial now, and I know this is probably going to be one that riles up Damien. I don't like games that say, hey, we're story rich, but what they mean is cutscene heavy. Don't like that.
That's how you learn the story. It's how you get involved with it.
If I want a story, I watch a movie. I don't. If you're going to give me a game, let me play the game.
Not everything's a card game, okay? Some things need a story.
Everything's a card game.
I mean, do you not even like your walking simulators? Like everyone's gone to the Rapture or something. I mean,
well, DayZ's basically a walking simulator, but
one BAFTAs. I think you're wrong. Won some awards. Just saying. But yeah, Michael Jackson.
Well, let me be a little bit more specific. I don't mind games where you play the story. I object to games where you play like 5 minutes of story and it's like, oh, we have to stop now for a 20-minute cutscene. You're like,
you're not a fan of
when do I get to play the game?
Kojima, can't say his name. What's his name?
Hideo Kojima.
That's the one. You're not a fan of his, and there's 45 minutes in Death Stranding or whatever in a cutscene or whatever. No.
I agree with Tim like that. If it's every 10 paces cutscene, agree. But you've got to have story elements that bring you into it.
Chris?
You just did it. I did my hand movements because we'd done it. You all said the things I was going to do, so I just...
Jazz hands?
Yeah, day one patches annoy me. Not having my game on my physical media, all that jazz. Just all of it. It's just annoying. Stick to the Mega Drive.
How about QuickTime events?
No.
And do you know what else really grinds my gear is when you have to walk through little cracks when they're loading the next scene. It's like, come on. You don't need that nowadays. Yeah, in your PS5 game, you throw it in there and like, oh, just go squeeze through this gap for a minute. It's just, yeah, that's annoying as well.
There
But
you
yeah.
go.
Lots annoys me.
Question 5. What is your favourite piece of tech that you own?
Well, it's a small pleasure, and I don't get to use it very often. But and I've shown it before, but it has to be the Sinden light gun. I love this thing. I mean, what a great idea to come up with a great solution for something like this, so that you can use it on an LCD screen. When all the old guns, of course, designed to work with, cathode ray tubes, so the scanning line technology, it relies on that. But this can work with any screen anywhere, and that's just great. So you bang all your games and whatever onto a mini PC. You get your Time Crisis, and you get your I don't know, Point Blank and that kind of stuff, and just put it on a mini PC, pop round to a mate's house, and go back to the good old days of sitting in the arcade, shooting at a screen. And I love this thing. It's a great idea, and hats off to the developers of this thing.
Can I just pick up a point on that, Tim?
You can try.
You commented on one of my responses in a video a few videos ago about you sounded really, really old there, where it was, you've got your Facebook, your YouTube, your da, da. And you just went, you've got your Time Crisis, you've got your da. You did exactly the same thing.
Well, we're all old, Sean. We're all old.
Saying,
Time to call out. Here we go.
I'm not the oldest here, though, despite what the polls have said about me, apparently. And by polls, I don't mean people from Poland. I mean the poll that we ran on YouTube. I just want to clear that up. I don't have anything against the people from Poland, and as far as I know, they're not accusing me of being incredibly old.
yeah,
Probably
you've
will.
got your
Yeah.
you've got your Poland, you've got your Ukraine, you've got your
Shut up,
Germany,
Sean.
Internet doesn't
Anyway.
lie.
Anyway, I'd like to go second, if I may. My favorite bit of tech, and this has never been shown on this channel, and I'm tearing up thinking about it. It's that important to me. It really is. And I have it here. Is this. This is my favorite bit of tech ever. So for those of you watching the channel may not know, but this was the best game or the best toy back in my day when I was a young boy, and I didn't get one. However, fast forward 40 years to my birthday, and a lot of my friends in the place where I work, some of whom may be on the screen at the moment or may not, clubbed together and they got me one. And I cannot tell you just how much this affected me. This was like in the day, back in the day, in the late 1970s, this was the toy to have. And I never got one. And these guys got me one. And I had so much fun programming it in the office where we work, getting it to move forward, turn right, fire a laser blast, turn right, fire another laser. It's just epic. If anybody of a certain age knows what this is, you will know how good this is. And I've got one.
Show off.
Can I go get mine now? It's the best thing ever. It's an alarm clock that when it goes off, it goes off. It literally runs around the room and you have to chase it down to turn it off. Amazing. It's absolutely fantastic. We had a previous video where I mentioned that it was quite a good idea. And as a birthday present, some of the people that are present right now clubbed together and got me it. Amazing. Love it. It has hit me in the head a couple of times when it's set off. But I love it. It's had 2 sets of batteries since as well. That's mine.
Well, I haven't got anything as exciting as all your great bits of tech. I've just got something that's very convenient and handy as my bit of tech, because I love the Sega Mega Drive, but all those old consoles, they have cables, don't they? That's really annoying. So nowadays, when your TV's the other side of the room, your giant screen telly, you've got to sit on a little stool or something near it, or have a Mega Drive in the middle of the floor where a dog walks on it, or kids trip over the cables. So it's a tripping hazard, and you don't want that. So I've simply just got one of these retro bit controllers, wireless controllers. So you can sit in comfort, other side of the room, and play your lovely retro consoles. So yeah, that's literally my favourite bit of tech at the minute. Can't really top yours, guys, so it's a bit boring, but there you go. Ease and comfort.
I'm going to upset you. Sega actually released an official one, a 6-button control that was radio signal control. But we only got an extra 2.5 feet more than the cable before it stopped responding. I had one.
It's not going to upset me. Works for me. I'm happy. Don't drag me
Sit
down.
at the other side of the room with that. It's far better made.
Yep, it's good.
Cool question.
Trap for the win.
I think so. Yeah.
Question 6. What is your favourite games console?
This is a tricky question for me because I have lots of consoles. But yeah, I'd usually go for 90s. I think I have to go back to the Sega Mega Drive because it was my first sort of console. And I keep going back to it, and it's got some of my favourite games ever on it. So yeah, quite simply the Sega Mega Drive. That's where I was. I was in the Sega field and the Sega Nintendo battle. So
Who's next?
that was it.
I'm kind of torn here with this because I loved everything at the time that was in the Sega bracket. I had the Master System, then I moved up to the Mega Drive and had almost the complete Tower of Power. And then I got introduced to the Super Nintendo, which I buried myself into for a long time. But for me, my favorite console is the PlayStation 1. The leap that had technology-wise, the games that it brought to life with 3D technologies and everything like that. I'm gonna go PlayStation 1.
Well, I suppose I'll jump in. It's a difficult one as well for me. The thing is that PlayStation 2 is probably the easy answer. I think probably most people, if they were asked, what is your favorite games console from the last whatever years, will probably land on the PS2 eventually. But the best memories that I have from playing games with mates when I was younger come from one of two possible consoles. One is the Sega Dreamcast, believe it or not. We used to love playing Hydro Thunder, and the races were always so close, and it would always end up with everybody sitting up in their chairs going, oh, come on, like right at the last second. It was always just a crazy finish. Then the other one would be the GameCube. And the GameCube was great because I used to play 1080 snowboarding, which was just hilarious at the best of times. And it also hosted one of my favorite games, Pikmin. If I had to choose between one of those two, oh, good God. I mean, I'd probably have to go GameCube. It's an odd choice, I grant you, but it just had a handful of games on it that I could just play again and again and again. To this day, I still play Pikmin.
Right. The GameCube, that was my uni console because it was like Mario Kart, Double Dash, and Bomberman all the time with your mates. Come back from the pub. Hey, great. Can't argue with that.
So I think from my perspective, my favorite games console, looking back, I think has got to be the Xbox 360. And the reason for this was our first kind of family console. So it was down in the living room. We had the Kinect and all that kind of stuff. So just from a family point of view, from me, my wife, my two children, just experiencing that together, that was just like on another level. There were so many great games on it. And like I say, those who know the channel know I'm not really a console kind of person. I'm more of a PC gamer god kind of person. But the games on that, and especially with the Kinect at the time, and the interactivity you got with that, we even had like family coming down from Scotland and come and stop with us, and we'd all get involved on the Kinect games, and just to see 80-year-old relatives like trying to YouTube or trying to raft on a down a river on, it was just like, wow, this is just amazing. So that's my choice, Xbox 360.
Question 7. What is your favourite video game?
I'm happy to go first on that.
Go.
Shadow of the Colossus.
Based on what you can see, Shadow of the Colossus. I'm not starting again. Yeah. I mean, it's sort of a bit creased up the top. It's kind of hard to see, but that is a Shadow of the Colossus tapestry, of course, because this kind of game requires that level. It doesn't deserve a poster. A tapestry is what it needs. It's just a masterpiece. It's beautiful. And I was talking about this earlier, actually, with Sean, because I was watching somebody playing the PlayStation 5 version or port or whatever you want to call it. I'm not entirely sure what it was. There's a lot more cutscenes in that one, or at least the cutscenes are much longer, and we know how I feel about that already. But it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to add that much more to the game. It doesn't need a lot of story. The story is taking place in your head. It's supposed to. It's like the Half-Life principle, where you're playing. Not Morgan Freeman. What's his name?
Gordon Freeman.
Where you're playing Gordon Freeman, and he never speaks. Of course, he never speaks because you're putting your own words in there. It makes sense to create a sort of mute protagonist where you get to insert your own thoughts into each conversation. And Shadow of the Colossus is a bit like that. So why add all these extra cutscenes that explains more about the environment? Didn't need it. It's fine as it is. It's a masterpiece. Leave it alone. That's all I have to say on the subject. Shadow of the Colossus, definitely.
I'm torn with this one again, because there are so many things that I've experienced that gave me a love for gaming growing up and going through the different stages of the new technologies as they came out. So I've gone from things like your Space Invader, your Pac-Man, Bomb Jack, that kind of thing, and then you move on to the newer consoles. For instance, like your Alex the Kid, Super Mario, blah blah blah. But one set of games that I always really enjoy to fall back on and enjoy the story, the way it's the art direction, the style of game that it is, and it's the Gears of War trilogy. Not the rest of it that came after. The original epic games, Gears of War 1, 2, and 3, they were exceptional.
Streets of Rage 2. Best game ever. Just a bit bash about, banging music, great 2-player, just best game on the Mega Drive, just best game ever. Can't say much more. Just Streets of Rage 2.
So, what is my favorite video game? I've got a long time at doing this. I'm going back to the year 1978 from personal computer game use. So I've got a lot of games to think about. And Damien raises a valid point, which I hadn't considered until he just said that. So I initially was going to say it was going to be a toss-up between Half-Life 2 or the original Portal. But he's given me pause for thought. And thinking about it, the actual amount of times that I loaded up a video game and played it and then stopped playing it and then loaded it up again and played it and loaded it up again and played it and loaded it up again and played it. There can only be one, and this goes back to the early 1980s on the ZX Spectrum. And the reason it's my favorite video game is because myself, my dad, and his friend played this solidly, and I mean solidly, for about a year. And that was Attic Attack on the ZX Spectrum. For those who don't know, Attic Attack was an absolute classic back in the day. It was by Ultimate Player the Game, which were one of the world leaders in games at the time. They went on to become Rare, which became synonymous with like Nintendo games and all that kind of stuff. And they're still going today. Some very, very talented guys. But Attic Attack was one of their early hits. And we literally used to play that to death, day after day after day after day. So thinking about it, that's my favorite game.
Question 8. What is your favourite video game movie?
I'm going Street Fighter. The one with I don't know if they've done like a second Street Fighter movie.
Which
I'm
one?
thinking of what the
The Van
Jean-Claude
Damme or
Van
the manga
Damme
version? Because they're both
and
really
Raul
good.
Ju- Oh, I've not watched the manga version, but the
Well, you're
Jean-Claude
missing
Van
out.
Damme, Raul Julia, Kylie Minogue. It's a classic. It's
Carly
so
Atkinson.
bad,
Yeah.
and I love it because it's so bad. So I'm going to go with that.
It's a good choice. That I quite like that one.
See,
Yeah.
that's another one. I would have also picked Tron.
Yeah, I would have allowed Tron. Yeah.
Oh, in that case, can I change?
Go on
No,
then.
that's my choice.
Oh, too late.
Oh, well, go on then, Sean. Talk us through it.
Well, that literally was going to be my choice. Tron was obviously based around the sort of like computer digitized industry back in the day, but then that subsequently produced arcade games, which were absolute classics. But Tron is all about getting inside the machine and the MCP and defeating the MCP, and it's just absolute classic, and it's all around video games. Admittedly, the movie spawned the video games, but it was based on the industry at the time. So
I'm going for Tomb Raider. I love the original two ones with Angelina Jolie in, but I have to go for the second one she did, The Cradle of Life. Just think the first one was a bit getting to know the character, but by the second one, all guns are blazing. It's not that great, but they're just good films you can chuck on, and they're all right. I mean, she punches a shark in the face, for goodness sakes. I mean, what more could you want?
And it had Mr. Brittis in it, or Arnold Rimmer,
Yeah, it had Rimmer in it. Yeah, loads of good stuff
Chris
in it.
Barry.
Yeah. And it's got loads of people in it. Actually, you go back and watch it now and go, I couldn't believe that actor was in it. But it has lots of famous actors in it. It's quite funny. But yeah, it's just good cheese. And it's not as cheesy as Street Fighter 2, although Street Fighter 2 with Jean-Claude Van Damme and Kylie Minogue is class. Do not get me wrong. But, it's a bit more,
cerebral.
Yeah, people will watch it.
Are you trying to imply that Street Fighter was not a cerebral movie, Sean? How dare you? That movie challenged me on levels that I didn't even know I had leveled.
Yeah, down here.
I mean, the thing is, you could have literally gone with films like your Far Cry, your Mortal Kombat, and other bits and pieces like that. But I'm going to be really, really cunning now and go Indiana Jones, because we've just finally had a proper good game with that. So I'm going to go with it doesn't matter which one of the Indiana Jones films you pick, apart from the skull one at
Crystal
the
Skulls.
end. That's the one.
What's wrong with Crystal Skulls? He's
All of
taught
it.
us how
Were
to
you not
survive a
paying
nuclear
attention?
holocaust in a fridge freezer. What?
I'm just
It's
saying,
educational.
it's not on my line of that's a good film. But yeah, I'm going to go Indiana Jones.
Question 9. What is your favourite arcade game?
My favorite arcade game is, and this has been, if it's not already aired, it's going to air soon on the channel, is Star Wars, the arcade game. The reason this is my favorite arcade game is back in the day, back in the very early 1980s, this kind of arcade cabinet was a total revolution at the time. So up until then, you had your stand-up cabinets where you had your joystick, your buttons, and you stood in front of it in the screen. This was an enclosed cockpit, so you were taken away from the cacophony of everybody around you. You were in there, you were in your X-Fighter, and you were battling Darth Vader and the Stormtroopers and everything. The sense of immersion was absolutely brilliant, and you had like speakers all around you. I mentioned in the video that if like I say, if you haven't already seen it, I urge you to go watch it. The speakers all around you, you actually felt the sound coming through the seat of your pants. It was that brilliant, and just that sense of actually doing what you're supposed to be doing. It was all vector graphics at the time, which, you know, in the early 80s, everything was sprites and 2D and all the rest of it. This was 3D, it was color, it was fast, it was slick. Absolutely mesmerizing. I've got so many good memories of that game and just spending 10 pence after 10 pence after 10 pence after 10 pence. Can't beat it.
Well, you can, and I'm gonna. Street Fighter 2. Amazing. Absolutely brilliant. Player versus player. One of the first proper fighting games that came out into the arcades, and it just went like a storm. It was fantastic. All the colours, all the sounds, the voicing and everything, the music. It was a cacophony just waiting to just explode on the screen for you to beat up whoever was playing player 2. It was beautiful.
I'll give you that, but it didn't have the John Williams score, did it? And it didn't have the digitized movie sound clips like Red 5 Standing By. And I've lost R2. Good, not quite right.
Didn't need any of that glory. It did all its glory for itself with its amazing sprite palette and its amazing different sound effects with everything, and the slap noises when you gave somebody some knuckles to the face. Brilliant.
So I used to like going up and down the mucky mile, as we called it, in Bridlington, scanning through all the arcades, looking for one particular one. That's all I wanted. Just one, point blank. You see, this is why this light gun is so important to me. Having to, you know, trek up and down on the seafront at Brid, looking at all the different arcades, trying just to find one arcade that had point blank, 1, 2, or 3. I'm not fussy. Any one of those. It was always hard work finding it, but whenever I did, that was it. I was stuck there. We couldn't move on anywhere else. Just keep feeding the machine and keep letting me shoot the targets. I was more than happy doing that all day long. And now, of course, I'm emulating it on a system downstairs with that Sinden like, and I'm a happy man. I just need a second one of those. Not so that, you know, I can play with somebody else. I just want to dual wield because I think I'll be cool doing it. Yeah.
Well, I didn't play a lot of arcade games growing up because I grew up in the Welsh valleys and all that lot, and there wasn't a lot of arcade machines about. You found the odd ones though in local sort of pizza shops or whatever out and about. So I can sort of say one that I did play quite a bit in a sort of local coffee shop in the little town we lived in, and that was 1942. You know, the shooting Capcom game, and it was a nice one because it was laid flat like a table one, so you could sit there with your. I wasn't drinking coffee at the time, but you drink and you play along with it and all that lot. So I did put a lot of 10p's into that one, I admit. I'm rubbish at it, but I did quite enjoy that one. But yeah, I can't say. I love the Star Wars one that you're on about, Sean, because when I went to one of his arcades now, isn't it, a retro consoles, I played that and I'm like, this is amazing even now. I was really, yeah. So I credit due. That is a cracking one. But yeah, I'm pretty rubbish at arcade games. That's why Dig Dug or whatever is rubbish.
You shut your filthy mouth.
I agree.
Question 10. What is your least favourite type of game?
Card games.
I was going to say card games. You can't say
Puzzle games. Anything that involves actual lateral thought or any forward thinking. It's supposed to be a game. It's supposed to take you out of the miserable environment of life It should just be fun, and away you go. What about you, Tim?
Well, I think these days, I mean, we've touched on the cutscene heavy stuff, so I'll skip over that. But I think these days, and it is specifically these days, as I've got older, my reaction time is way worse than it used to be when I was, in my 20s or my teens. So all of that's gone. So in terms of games that I really don't enjoy now, it'd be things like MOBAs, esports style games, anything where you require sort of speedy, twitchy reaction times. That's just gone for me. And not only that, but thinking of games, like I don't know, Call of Duty or League of Legends, that kind of stuff. If by some hideous fluke I did win the game like that, the last thing I need is some 12-year-old kid screaming racial slurs at me. It's no fun being in those sort of games, and you do get that kind of stuff a lot. Nah, I'm out. I'll stick with my puzzle games, games where I got a bit of time to think and figure things out.
Slows down Alzheimer's, I suppose.
And you are?
Sorry, it's about 8 o'clock, mate. What did you ask?
No, I'm not thirsty, thanks.
No, it's Monday.
Do you guys want to chime in at any point, Chris and Sean?
I've already chimed in. It's card games. They absolutely suck. So, Sean.
So apart from card games, which obviously suck, my least favorite games are like turn-based strategy games. I cannot get my head around them. It just doesn't do it for me. I appreciate the people that like them and get on with them and appreciate their merits. It's just not for me. The other one is these big kind of MMO RPG games where you've got a massive story, you've got loads to do, and you wander around some kind of like land, knitting chainmail gloves, taking them to the market, selling your chainmail gloves, buying some of the shit, going over there, finding crap to knit chainmail gloves, to take them to the market. It's just like, why would you want the monotony of doing that? You do all that in your day-to-day life. You get up, you get washed, you brush your teeth, you go to work, you have your lunch, you knit your chainmail gloves, you take them to the market, you sell them, you go home. It's like, oh, for God's sake, no. For me, as I'm sure it is with a lot of people, gaming is a lot about escapism, and you want to put all that at the door. What I want to do tonight is whatever. I want to run around a map with my mates shooting zombies. I don't want to think about anything. That's all I want to do. I want to shoot zombies. Or I want to go around a golf course, crazy golf course with my mates, potting the balls, trying to stop people potting their balls or being as obstructive as I can or whatever, and having a laugh or whatever your flavor is.
He admitted it. It's on camera. He admitted it. He's trying to obstruct us.
He also didn't mention smashing the shit out of mice either, but we'll leave that out.
I think we should include it. How much did that mouse cost you, Sean?
Anyway, so that those kind of games are my least favorite games. Turn-based strategy games and your big, huge MMOs where you just end up knitting gloves and taking them to the market and selling them. Not for me.
Make gloves, not war.
No. Have you heard about the latest update for Left 4 Dead 2 to make it more action-packed? That
No.
You go into and you go around obviously and get your zombies, but instead of shooting them, when you get up to them, you pull out a card and you just you defeat them that way.
Don't, Chris.
No.
Chris, just too close.
Card games suck.
No. Yes.
I'm going to see if I can find a 4-player card game, and you guys are all going to have
Shut
to play
your
with it.
mouth.
We won't play it.
It'll be
I know
great for
that, Des.
content. Let us know
Shut
down in the
your
comments if you
mouth.
want to see these guys play a decent multiplayer card
Shut your
game.
mouth.
I think I would rather whip my genitalia with rusty barbed wire than do that. But
And I'd rather watch him do it.
And that's the end of another exciting video. We hope you enjoyed it and you really enjoyed those questions and learnt a bit about the team a bit more there. So, guys, what do people need to do?
Give us a like and subscribe down there.
Don't forget to leave us a comment down below. Let us know what you thought of the content and if we want to do some more of this kind of thing.
bell, so you're notified of anything we put up into the internet later. Nice.
And as always, don't forget, card games are shit. Bye!
Bye!